All right, welcome back to the shop. So I've got another M1161 that we just finished up, or almost finished up with. This one here, number 85. It's a M1161 LSV light strike variant, ITV, and she was made in August of 2009. It's a really nice 61. It's in really good shape structurally. It hasn't seen salt water. It's in really good condition. Somebody had done some work to it before I got to it. I think, before it was sold at Govplanet. It had the rear airbags, you could tell had been changed at one time, and there was some other work done to it, and there was a couple things done on the engine that wasn't complete. In fact, I'll open the hood up here. Yeah, these boost tubes going to the turbo were disconnected, and they were just laying in the vehicle. So it was sold as inoperable, and the air filter was missing as well. So we actually, we got an air filter. We put the tubes all back into place. We did an oil change to it, of course. We did the fuel filter. We did the hydraulic filter for the steering and the brakes. It does have a bad sensor for the gauge, for the temperature gauge, and I've got that on order. It'll be here in a couple of days, and I'll put that sensor in, and then that'll all be complete. I put a hood strut on it. I have tires coming. It actually has two different types of tires on it right now, and they are in pretty bad shape. They've got a lot of tread left on it, but it's kind of, I don't know if the video picks it up, but they're rotten, and they're starting to chunk out. So it's time to put tires on. One of the reasons I want to make sure the tires are on this one, because it is leaving the country. This one is actually owned by a friend of mine down in San Diego, and I found a buyer for it, and a guy in France is buying this one. And so I'm almost done. I'll be done with it before he's ready for it, because he has to set up shipping and stuff like that and import stuff. But when I'm all done, and when it's all said and done, this thing will be in the north of France. So that's kind of cool. Another one that I just found out was shipped to the Virgin Islands. So these things are getting all over the world. There's some in Germany, New Zealand, and one other place I can't think of. Anyways, let's get back to the video. So we also checked the wastegate valve. The wastegate valve was good on this one. You can see the differential vent cap. We changed the differential vent cap because that was broken. Already talked about all the other stuff under the hood that we did. We put wiper blades on it. It was missing the square mirror. We put a new square mirror on it. I should paint this one. I haven't been painting these when I put them on, because I'm not really into like body restoration of paint stuff, but I think I will put paint on this before it ships out. Okay, so now getting into the dash, we did put a key switch on it. He wanted to maintain the original start heat, heat start switch on there, so we have that on. But we put a key lockout switch. Put a console cover on it for him. Like I said, the temp gauge wasn't working, but we did find a problem. It is the sensor, so we have the sensor coming. Everything else in the dash is working correctly. The CTIS system works fine. The airbag system works fine. We've set the levels on that. Rear steering works good. So that's all taken care of. We installed a front air tank drain on it. We also added the rear air tank drain for this one as well. I do need to find a couple of cushions, the lower seat cushions. It's missing the right rear and the left front. So I've got to call out to a couple of guys I know with some parts. Hopefully they have them. If not, it's something that we're either gonna have to get made up, or the owner can get made up when he, when it gets to him. It'll give him something to do to it, right? Okay, let's go around to the back. Let's pop the lid back here. It already had new batteries in it, but the hold down wasn't hooked up. Wasn't installed correct. It wasn't installed at all. The hardware, some of the hardware was missing. So we put new hardware in that. Put the hold downs on. We made sure all the battery cables are good. We put a battery disconnect switch on it just so that it, you can shut the power off so it won't drain the batteries if it's sitting for a while. Air compressor filter. Put that on. It's almost on every single one. We end up putting that on. The one that was on there, it was just rotten. It was probably the original one. Come down here to the back, and we cut the welds on the rear steering locks. We put new struts on for the rear steering locks. You can see we did all 4 CV joints, or CV boots. We did all, here's the rear ones we did. Also on this left rear wheel, the wheel bearings were shot, so we had to source a new hub for that. We changed that hub out. We put all 4 airbags on it. It's funny, it had newer airbags in the back than I did in the front, but they weren't They still didn't look very good. The front ones were really bad, but these ones didn't look very good. And since it's going so far away, I didn't want to send this off to the guy and then 2 years from now his airbags go bad, and then he has to, I either have to ship him some or he's got to find some over there. You can see we changed the upper ball joint boot. This is the right rear. The boot was, was just totally gone on this one, and I found a really good source for new boots for those. The joint was in really good shape, so we just saved the owner a lot of money by just putting a new boot on it. Coming around here to the right rear wheel, you can see the air tank drain that we added. Also for these rubber flaps, it was missing a couple of them, and then the other ones are pretty stiff and in pretty bad shape. So I do have some material coming for those. So that's coming the same day I get that the tires are coming. So I'll be able to just finish all this up this coming in a few days here when I get those parts. Coming around down here to the bottom, transfer case. We changed the transfer case fluid, the transmission. We changed the transmission filter and the transmission fluid. The pans, they were bent up really bad. They were actually just laying on the back deck when I got it. So we straightened those out as good as we could. We straightened the tabs out. The current owner, the one who's selling it, had 2 new drive lines made for it, or we had them rebuilt because they were bent really bad as a result of the pans being bent real bad. So the drive lines on this are new. And we changed the gear oil in both differentials. We changed the bushings in both lower control arms. They were just wasted, gone. They were totally, the rubber was just blown out of them. So we replaced those bushings. Those are nice and tight. You can see the front CVs that we did. You can see the front, front airbags. We also flushed the nitrogen on all 4 of the struts. We let the nitrogen out that's in them. We fill them up 2 or 3 times, purging them out with fresh nitrogen, and then we set the pressure. Right now we're setting them to 100 PSI. It seems to be what I find almost all of them at. One vehicle I did, they were at 130, but everything else, they have been at 100. So that's where we set these at. And then down here on the steering rack, this bolt right here that goes into the servo rod was broken. So I was able to figure out what bolt that was. I sourced it. We changed that. And then I was also able to find new rubbers too. The rubbers were just wiped out on here. So I found new rubber boots as well. So we got those changed out. All right, so that's it for ITV number 85. Like I said, she's a really good growler, and she's in real good shape. And we've gone through and fixed up anything that we can find wrong with it. And so hopefully it'll be, she'll run really good for the new owner over there. You hate to see one of these leave the country because there's so few of them made. But I am proud to be able to work on one that's going to be, going to another country. That's pretty cool. And I have a son who lives over there in France, so next time I go over to visit him, I'm going to look up the owner and see if I can come out and visit it too, and make sure that everything's going good with it. So anyways, thanks for watching. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. Hit the like button. That shows YouTube that people like my videos, and they will show them to more people, and I'd really appreciate that. So anyways, thanks for watching, and have a good day.